Hey guys, it's Jake FPR Geek here and welcome to the channel. In today's video we will be reviewing the 86 rated French Bayern Munich left winger Kingsley Coman. Now he did cost me 18.5k. I did purchase him on the web app, literally in the first few days of the web app. So yeah, I just knew his price was going to rise from there, so I was lucky enough to get those coins and then, you know, play these games really early on and give a proper review on him. So I did play 10 games with him. I have been reviewing other cards as well, but I did play 10 games with him and he scored 6 goals and got 11 assists. Yeah, let's get into his sort of in games. So he is 5'10", he's got a medium work rate. He's right footed with the 3-star weak foot, which is a little bit disappointing, but he does have those 5-star skill moves, which is an all important stat in my opinion. And then he can only really play left mid and left wing. Getting into his attributes now, here is where I think there's some really important stats that he has some really nice, you know, high stats for. So that 94 acceleration, obviously overall pace is amazing for this card, and you will really notice that in game. A couple of stats that really stand out to me are his 84 attack positioning and his 86 reactions combined with the 92 agility. So in game you do really feel that. His dribbling is insane in game. Obviously we'll get into some gameplay in a minute, but he's got 83 shot power, which is also really nice, although his shooting is a little bit inconsistent as he's got that 75 finishing, which you will see soon as well. But his passing for an attacker is really nice as well. So yeah, the only thing downside probably here is his strength. Sort of his physical stats aren't great. Obviously his defending is not going to be great, but yeah, there is only real downsides to this card, and obviously that shooting is a bit low. With the traits, he's got speed dribbler, which is really nice. Obviously injury prone is not good, but yeah, the speed dribbler is definitely a really important trait for a winger to have. Right, so let's get into the gameplay now. Well, this is the team I was using him in. As you can see there, 4-3-3 with FPR in there as well, which I will be doing a player review on him next. As you can see there, I did get him 18.5k, which is incredible. There you go, FPR, got him untradable, which is really nice. If you want to see that player review, that is coming out after this Kingsley Coman one. But yeah, let's get into Kingsley Coman now and the gameplay. So there will just be a load of random clips, you know, a combination of sort of the best and sort of bad parts of Kingsley Coman. But as you can see on the screen, I did play 10 games with him, scored 6 goals and got 11 assists, which I think is an amazing return for a right attacking mid, which is the position I predominantly played him in the 4-2-3-1 formation. Obviously you can change in game. And yeah, I found right attacking mid to be his best position. I tried him in striker, which he was actually decent. I'd still kind of recommend him in striker. And I played him also in cam, which was also kind of alright, but I only really played him like half a game and a game in those both positions because I just loved him in that right attacking position, which is where I wanted him originally going into it. But yeah, his pros are obviously definitely his pace is a massive plus. I mean, the pace boosts he gets are actually incredible. Like I don't know if they've shown them in some of the clips you've just seen, but just there, like his acceleration he gets, especially even on the ball, is like the best I've used so far. I haven't used obviously a ton of players because it's only the start of FIFA, but he is definitely the best I've used for that. Just that little pace boost there. Obviously I don't know what I'm doing there with the skills, just ignore that bit of gameplay. But yeah, so his pace is incredible, his dribbling is obviously incredible. Combined with that, as I said, agility and reactions, it just, you know, it's such a fun card to use, and he does feel really agile in game. This year's installment of FIFA, dribbling has definitely taken a bit of a downfall, but yeah, he still manages to dribble really nice, even with the sort of nerfs to dribbling in the whole entire game itself. And the next one, obviously skills, 5-star skill moves, a massive plus for any sort of player you want to use, you know, effectively in game. You've got access to those 5-star skill moves, which are going to be really handy, especially for someone like Kingsley Coman. But as you see here, just that clip right there that just happened, he is, for an attacker of sort of his kind of abilities, his playmaking and his passing for an attacker is really nice. That's something that you don't get with, you know, a player like, say, to compare him to someone like a right winger like Adama Traore. He doesn't have the final product. He's not really great at passing. In this year's FIFA, you need passing, and he has that in his locker. Combined with all the other really great stats, he has that passing and playmaking ability in his locker, which I find really nice, and it's definitely a must-have for any team going forward. Obviously, his crossing for a wing is great as well. But let's get into his negatives. So, as I mentioned, that 3-star weak foot. Definitely passing and shooting on that weak foot is going to be a bit of a letdown. I find that weak foot is probably more important this year than it has been any of the years I've really noticed. I've been playing FIFA for, you know, since FIFA 13, and weak foot is always been important. But this year I'm finding just with passing in general, shooting obviously, weak foot is just, with this Kingsley Coman card, if he had 4-star weak foot, he'd be probably one of the best cards on the game. But his weak foot does let him down quite quite massively. You'll see coming up some shots that he takes with his left foot just lack that power, and some of his passing sometimes lacks that power. So it would have been really nice to have that 4-star weak foot on him, but he doesn't, unfortunately. But yeah, so it's also his strength isn't, you know, the best, but you know, he still can, you know, tussle his way out because he's got that pace, that speed boost. His strength, I'd say, is a con, but it's not like it's a weak con, if that makes sense. Like, it's not something you need to worry about. It's just something, you know, you're not going to be able to muscle, you know, Ruben Diaz or someone, you know, off the ball. So yeah, that's definitely a con for him. And then I did speak about his inconsistent shooting a little bit, especially on that weak foot, but just in general, I think it's his finishing, his 75 finishing sometimes is a bit of a letdown. So if you are going to play him striker, that's something I'd like you to keep in mind. But as I said, as a right attacking mid, he's not getting into those shooting positions as much as, you know, the striker or the cam, the central cam. So if you are playing this formation, I'd recommend playing him on the right attacking mid, maybe even left attacking mid. But I like having the right footers, you know, cut in and shoot across face of the goal. Shoot across face of goal, which I think is really effective again this year. But yeah, so I'd play him anywhere out on the wing where he can really utilise that pace, because I feel like in the central positions he doesn't get to utilise that pace as much, and his agility and his reaction things I think are really, really great. So you get, you know, the benefits of that, and yeah, I think he's a really great winger, and I'd definitely highly recommend him. Obviously, I've given him an 8.2 overall, but that's mainly down to his shooting. I think he's obviously a very fun card. He's pacey, he's got the 5-star skill moves. But yeah, overall, I think shooting is also massively important this year. Having a high shooting stat, you know, you can get players like, you know, Benzema and Lewandowski, I think, are going to be really good this year. And usually they're not, you know, the best cards to use. I don't think pace is as important. I mean, it's still obviously always going to be a factor in FIFA, but I think shooting and passing are actually like massively important in this year's installment, which yeah, Coman has that passing, right, he has a decent like level of passing for an attacker, which is quite rare. You know, at 86 raid you would have thought he would be good enough for that, but yeah, I think he's definitely FUT Champs ready. I mean, he did cost, so I don't really speak about the price, he did cost me obviously 18.5k as I said before, but he is around about that 50,000 coins now, and I still think that's a really great value for money. He might even go up a little bit further. Well, I can definitely see that just because I think he obviously links to Nkunku, and yeah, a lot of like the French national team has some amazing players, and just especially in Ultimate Team as well. So yeah, that's something to think about. Maybe investing him now because he might go up in the future. So if you're looking to get him in your FUT Champs teams, ready for the next FUT Champs, I would highly recommend it. He's a very fun card to use. The only downfall is that shooting a little bit is a bit inconsistent, but you can still do a very good job of this, especially in the first weekend league. So yeah, personally, I would recommend Kingsley Coman for FUT Champs, and I will definitely probably be using him in my team, potentially coming up to the next one, just because I had so much fun with him. But yeah, 6 goals and 11 assists from 10 games return is really nice, especially from that right attacking mid who usually doesn't get too much involvement. He did a really great job for me. So yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this in-depth Kingsley Coman player review, and don't forget to check out my next player review, which will be on Nabil Fekir, and let me know what player you'd like to see a review on. I'm going to be doing in-depth player reviews, not these 1 or 2 game player reviews. I want to properly try out these cards and give you, you know, an overall proper player review on those players. So yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and hit the bell notification if you want to see more FIFA 23 player reviews, and I'll catch you next one.